And now, Steven Jackson, Ryan Brooks, Johnny Sunshine, and Robert Scott. This is the 6 o'clock evening news. Hello, and welcome to the 6 o'clock evening news. I'm your host, Steven Jackson.
And I'm the co-host, Ryan Brooks.
Tonight is a very special broadcast as we are commemorating the 20-year signing of the treaty that ended the Great Nuclear War.
Sounds exciting, Steven.
Oh, it was. For those of you who are under 20 years of age, you probably don't remember anything about it or have heard very little because the government has banned us from talking about it. It was that horrible.
I still have nightmares, Steven.
As do I. But I get by on a mixture of a handful of Vicodin and a bowl of scotch for breakfast every day.
That is probably going to kill you one day, Steven.
Well, God willing. Moving on. Back in 2037, a nuclear missile was launched. Historians have been unable to determine who launched it, but we know it wasn't us, because we got hit by it. However, after we were hit, the president pushed the red button to launch all of our nukes, and we nuked, well, just about anyone we could find. And then everyone else got mad at us, and, well, I guess it's what you might call escalation.
In retrospect, we probably should have figured out who launched the original nuke before we just went crazy and nuked everybody else. Sorry.
The landscape of America has changed since that first bomb detonated.
That's right, Steven. For you see, after the bomb hit, it caused so much radiation that it was an actual global warming. This one's real this time. So the polar ice caps melted and flooded the entire Midwest. That's right, people at home. All that water, that used to be land, beautiful land of nothing, but fields and grain. And the Colorado Islands, as you call them, those used to be wondrous Colorado Rocky Mountains.
Blasphemy.
Not blasphemy, Stephen. They were quite beautiful, in fact. But thankfully, the South was unchanged by any of the blasts.
Wow, that must be one of those miracles you hear about.
Actually, not really, Stephen. For you see, the water had radiation poisoning and made everyone who drank it mutants. Now we are sending anybody who is mutated down to the south with the other mutants to pick crops for our food. Unfortunately, the white mutants have been not letting the black mutants into their food places, farms, all that stuff. So, unfortunately, segregation is back in full effect. It's a terrible shame.
Wow, that sounds horrible.
It is.
Moving on. After the shock waves, the San Andreas Fault was very badly shaken, causing California to actually break off from the rest of the continental U.S. and become its own island.
Really, Stephen?
Yes, it is. And now California is its own island nation, no longer part of the United States. But the only people who live there are homosexuals and liberal Democrats. As for the rest of us, we all migrated up north to the only place we could, Alaska, which, thanks to the wonder of global warming, has become a wondrous tropical paradise. So things here in the USA, the United States of Alaska, are peachy keen.
It's quite beautiful up here, Stephen. I love it every day.
Could you imagine this is ice? That would have been horrible.
Terrible.
Those poor Eskimos.
Ooh.
Speaking of the USA, the president has just recently passed a law requiring all citizens to carry a gun or at least own one.
That's funny, Stephen, because I've been carrying this thing around with me every day, even before he passed that law, and... Is that a mutant? Right there, that guy behind the camera. Is that a
Whoa,
mutant?
easy there.
No,
it's just our stage manager, Bobby.
Oh, it is. For now.
Anyway, weather has been changed. We mentioned that already, but I think we need to cut somewhere before Ryan shoots someone. So let's take a brief look at the history of weather with our happy weatherman, Johnny Sunshine, starting at his last broadcast before the blast.
Alright, thanks. For today's forecast, it's gonna be sunny in the morning, and during the evening, it'll start to cool down a little with a slight chance of precipitation. So all you stargazers, stay inside tonight. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? This is Johnny Sunshine, wishing you a happy today and a great tomorrow. Oh gosh, it has been 10 years since the fallout. and I have committed horrible atrocities against humankind. Oh, all in the name of what? Life? What have I ever done with my life? I'm a weatherman.
Just do the weather!
Oh, excuse me. Oh, gosh. Okay, today's weather forecast is going to be hotter than yesterday. In fact, it's getting 1 degree hotter every day, with a slight chance of acid rain. Oh, since the fallout, it's been horrible. Who even remembers the last time we had regular rain? Back to you. Well, it's been about 12 weeks, and each day it's gotten 1 degree hotter. If this keeps up, we're not even going to be able to go outside. The acid rain has continued and has destroyed most of our crops down in the south. I mean, we're not even going to be able to go outside without our arms catching on fire. I mean, it's horrible. Back to you. Do you really understand that? Oh, I can feel it right now. 1 degree hotter. Oh, if my grandfather were here to see this, so help me, something would be done. Something would be done about this. I mean, honestly, who remembers when there was regular water coming down from the sky? Oh, who remembers winter? Making snowmen out in the front yard, playing with little kids and having jolly times? What the heck?
And we go live now to talk to Johnny Sunshine. How's the weather, Johnny?
Oh my gosh, 1 degree hotter. Don't you realize what that means? In like a week, we're gonna be dead. Oh my gosh, 1 degree hotter. Do you know how hot that is?
No, Johnny! No, Johnny! Oh my God, Johnny! What are you doing? No, God, no! Oh, sweet monkeys. Oh.
This job's gonna kill me. Moving on.
Alright, all our longtime viewers know it's just about time for...
Misadventures in Space! For anyone just joining in and does not know about this, Misadventures in Space is a weekly installment of what happens in space.
In space, you say?
Of course!
There's no one in space.
I beg to differ, and so does our video footage. I'll explain. See, back before the nuclear war, we had space stations, and we went out there and studied all that crap in zero-G that goes on, but after the blast, we kind of used all our rocket engines to propel missiles, and we blew up all the air bases where we would actually build spaceships. That's right, kids, I said spaceships. We had vehicles that could travel into space, but not anymore. We have none of those left whatsoever. But we had a big orbiting space station where astronauts could go and live for months and weeks and years at a time. Unfortunately, all our communications satellites were completely fried during the war, except one. But it didn't escape completely unscathed. It can only receive transmissions. So we keep getting these beams messages from astronauts. We can't do anything with them, but they're fun to watch. Let's go to this week's.
Oh God, we're out of food. We have no food left. We had to eat Tom. I'm sorry. We gave him the rest of the food to fatten him up, and we ate him. And then Bill, I was gonna eat Bill, but then he jumped out there like the stonefish. Oh God, I'm starving. If there's anyone receiving this video, please send help. Please. God.
Oh, those wacky astronauts.
You know, I actually knew Tom in high school.
Really?
Yeah, I owed him $10, but that's because that's a debt I don't have to pay.